Lunagender car. When our advice you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes. We talk about our sexy dates. We host events and get to clubs. But most of all, we're still in love. It's getting hard for this to rhyme. Just as well, cause it's bed hopping time.
Hello and welcome to the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name is Mr. H.
I'm Mrs. H.
Thank you for joining us today. I am pleased to say that we are back, and I am back to health, I guess.
I mean,
the thing,
this
right?
isn't a brand new podcast with brand new people that we've never heard of before. This is actually you.
It's just me, yeah.
You've returned from the brink.
I have returned from a couple of weeks of being poorly, basically.
Where have you been? What have you been doing?
Well, you see, right?
Got bubonic plague?
Well, so ultimately, right, I got the flu.
Not swinger flu?
Not swinger flu, just regular, boring, got it through normal reasons flu,
Oh dear,
probably.
how
That's
boring.
what I assume. And I was shivering around like Ozzy Osbourne when he was around. And basically, like night sweats and all the horrible stuff, right?
I mean, I've been through it.
You've lived through it, obviously.
I've been through this awful couple of weeks with you being poorly. So really, the medal goes to me.
Well, you know, we'll see when we come out the other side of this conversation. But so that happened. And then at the back of that, I was like, well, I'm still poorly. Let's go to the doctors. And they went, you know what? You've got an ear, a chest and a throat infection. So have some antibiotics.
Trifecta.
Yeah, we're going to chuck some
Antibiotics.
At you.
Couldn't have just a regular one thing.
No,
you had to have
I
three.
had to have a bare minimum of three
things.
things happen. So it's basically, that was like, I don't know, a week and a half ago that they diagnosed that stuff and prescribed that nonsense. And now I'm back. I'm back at work. I'm feeling more human.
Thank God.
Yeah, the headache is pretty much gone, which is good.
We even had to sleep in separate bedrooms.
I know, which is rare for us.
Never
right?
do that.
Very, very, very.
I had to sleep
rarely
with
do.
the cat.
Well, you were fine with that. The cat, strangely enough, at the same time, kitten/cat, I guess she's a womanly cat now.
A womanly cat.
Megatron decided that heat was a thing that she was going to experience
Yeah.
the first time. So whilst I was like...
You were going through heat.
Yeah, whilst I was burning up, the cat was just like presenting every...
Horny.
Yeah, horny. Just presenting every
Just
2 minutes. Like,
meowing.
meow, 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 meow.
I know.
Constantly. Was
Poor
not
Meg.
a fun...
It was all about Meg, really.
Probably.
You diluted her first heat with you being...
That's what it was.
Took
yeah.
the glory away from her.
I took all of the attention in a move very, very normal for me,
But
basically.
you're never ill.
Well,
so
this is the thing.
I knew this is how you were ill.
Well, I am rarely ill, but this was not a fun experience. So as a result, we didn't record a podcast.
Because we couldn't, because you were dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I had to cook.
You cooked once.
Never again.
Yeah, so we do like one of those like mindful chef, like gusto things, right? Where you get your meals sent to you and you just
With
make
instructions.
them. With instructions, yeah. So normally, you know, it's one of the things I like to do is cook dinner for us. You know, it's only two of
God
us, so
for
it's
that.
fine. So I normally cook dinner and you were like, you are so poorly, Mr. H. I don't do not worry, for I will cook this meal. I will do this for you. And it
Oh, it was something else.
It was.
I don't know what I cooked, but
It was. Well, it was supposed to be some sort of
hot pot
thing.
Yeah.
It was not hot.
Well,
It
no,
definitely-
it did lose points of not being hot.
Yeah, it was not even warm.
In a pot.
Yeah, it was. Some of the items were cooked.
Yeah.
Some of the items were
Burnt.
less cooked.
Yes.
And some of them were perhaps a little burnt. So the moral of the story, Mrs. H, is do not try. It is let me do the cooking. I think that's the. But that was one night. There was only one night. But the rest of the time, I've
poor
continued
thing.
to provide you with dinner.
Because you didn't want a shoddy meal. That's
Well,
why.
the thing, I wasn't really particularly hungry, but I also, the food that I did have, I wanted to be of like reasonable, edible
All right.
quality.
So, yeah, I see what you're saying here.
Yeah. To be fair, you looked after me and you made sure that I was okay by asking me every 8.5 seconds if I was okay.
I'm running out every 2 minutes to buy you meds.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. So I think overall, what we learned is that you looked after me mostly by checking in on me, by asking me every 8.5 seconds, by taking my temperature.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why you had to take it in the same way as the pets take the temperature. I think that was just for
I
your
was
own.
trying to give you a bit of fun.
Maybe.
You didn't even want fun.
I didn't even want
Couldn't
sexy
even
times.
manage
yeah,
fun.
and I literally completed Netflix and YouTube, but
But not Pornhub.
But not Pornhub. It eluded me. I couldn't. I just had not the energy nor the capacity. But the good news is I am feeling much, much better.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm getting back up to full speed ahead, back to the gym, all that good stuff.
Back to the gym.
Ben went back to the gym today. Yeah, that was a good thing.
You?
Yeah, it was hard work.
Yeah.
I didn't do that much, but the fact that I was there implied that it was like, this is a good thing. I need to do this. I need to get back on it. Well, I think the thing was, so like I lost a bit of weight because I wasn't eating.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, now I need to eat all of the things because
you're better.
Because I'm better and hungry and greedy.
Have your muscles atrophied?
Yes, definitely.
They have.
Yeah, they have, absolutely.
No.
There is definitely a
dear.
and a trophification that's going on. But that's fine. We're going to get back into things. And it's been really nice in that we've been able to like slowly but surely poke our heads above the parapet again and be like, hey, people, we can see
make
you.
Plans again.
We can make
but the
plans.
thing is, we haven't really made any plans because we didn't really, there was nothing going on.
Well, I think there is if I'm not driving the plans, then the plans do not happen. Has been one of my great learnings of this. So
You've learned many things, haven't you?
Yeah.
I can't cook. I shouldn't cook.
Yeah.
I don't make plans.
Well, you don't tend to. So I think the thing is, unless it's me going, hey, we should do a thing, let's do a thing, then generally you won't organise that. I mean, at a push, you will organise something with Secret Stag and Secret Vixen as like, hey, let's see them as
at a push. Yeah. It's my favourite thing to do.
Yes, but that's not challenging in terms of like, hey, let's meet new people or anything.
Have you seen their calendar? It's ridiculous.
They are busy and popular and with good reason too. For they are lovely. But like your ability to go on and like look at stuff and organise stuff is, Well,
I have, I did do some organising of stuff because I've actually booked something for a thing,
You've booked something for a thing? What thing?
We'll talk about later.
Well, you've booked something for a thing?
Yeah, no, we'll talk about it later.
So one of the things that we did do, well, let's talk about the thing that I assume that you're talking about.
I actually did that.
So we, over the last couple of months, so we've been sort of looking at, we talked in the last couple of episodes about doing some socials this year and getting back on the swing of it or into the swing of it. And I think one of the things I wanted to do was do some socials in different places. It's all very nice doing them in our local area, which is normally Southampton, which is great because it means we don't have hotel costs. We know the venues. We've got 2 or 3 venues that we can use. And I think, we'll do another one of those very soon. Yeah. We'll make an announcement about that once you've pulled your finger out about that one. I know, right? But one of the things that we have done is we've been chatting to some friends who have other friends who some of them have organised other socials before. So like the Sparkly Duck people, Sparkly Duck Bucket, I want to say.
Sparkly Duck Bucket.
And also our friends, Brisk Couple.
Yes.
And we have combined forces and created a thing that we're calling 7 Sinners, right?
We are.
And basically, because there's 7 of us.
7 of us.
Look at that math.
I know.
That was how inspired I was during my poorly times. That is as far as I could get into my. Not that it was just me doing this, but it was collectively. That's where we've ended up. So we have got a save the date.
We have,
because we're going to be doing a social in Bristol, right?
Bristol.
Let's have a good day, right?
Bristol.
On the 20th of June this year. So we've got the venue all sorted.
All booked, sorted.
It's going to be for around about 70, 75 people.
I've gone with 80 conservatively, but,
Well, I think the thing is that we went to Bristol, had a good look around, looked at a variety of different venues, tried drinks in each one and stuff. And I think we found a really nice one that works for the sort of atmosphere that we're trying to create. Obviously, we're not going to reveal the tickets.
But rest assured, it's great.
Yeah, so over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be putting tickets up for grabs, for sale, going to be very reasonable. They're going to be selling tickets as well. So what we've done is we've all taken like a responsibility to sell a number of tickets.
Yeah.
And which I think is like 10 for each person or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and there's lots of people that go to their stuff that come to us. So lots of interactions and cross-pollination, I guess is the phrase. Yeah.
It just reminds me of Animal Crossing.
Does it? Okay.
When you cross-pollinate your flowers and get hybrid
So not real life then, just Animal Crossing.
Shut up, you're not my real dad.
I really am.
Don't diss Animal Crossing.
I wouldn't diss Animal Crossing, it is good.
Good.
But your village is now derelict for you've not been there for so long.
Absolutely awful.
And like along with your Nintendo that is from your DS days.
Oh my God.
That is so dead.
One day, just for lols, I'll like jump back on there and just see what sort of state it's in.
It's just been eaten by flies at this point. So we have combined with them to create a new event. We're going to go to Bristol. We're going to host an event there. It's going to be a social. So a good mix of local folks plus crowd plus a bit of their crowd. I think it's going to be a really fun one. And it's really nice to be in a different city, do something a bit different and give other people a chance to sort of come together. So even if it's like half our crowd and half local crowd, I still think that's a really good balance.
Yeah.
And then later on in the year, we'll be doing like a Southampton thing and probably another thing in another city.
But I think we'll try and do something on, because that's a Saturday, the 20th of June, but we'll try and, again, make a bit of a weekend of it.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll try and do something very informal on the Friday night for folks who want to make a whole weekend.
Yeah, I think that's quite
always
fun.
fun.
That's
and the challenge is not to destroy yourself on the very informal, just casual drinks night on the Friday and ruin yourself for Saturday.
Well, that is indeed.
We've not learned that yet, but we'll get there.
Occasionally we have, but I think this is one of the things that I really like doing. I really like the social events.
Yeah.
I really like bringing people together, making those connections, and just like having a bit of a fun night. I think quite often these people get so nervous over these things, and I like to try and create hopefully an atmosphere where everyone can just chill out, have a nice drink or two if that's their thing, and just meet some new people and catch up with old friends.
Have several drinks because we've got a bar tab.
Oh yeah, there is a bar tab to me. So yeah, like have a
Don't limit
few
yourself
drinks.
to one. Why not have 4?
Like have a couple of drinks and buy me a drink. That would be also acceptable. Can confirm, having sampled the drinks there, the drinks are very nice.
Oh, they were wonderful.
Which were
and
really good.
The wonderful barmaid there as well.
She was also lovely. No promises on her being there.
I'll do my best.
But
she was great.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
So that we've got coming up. Look out if you're in Patreon. We'll post details there as soon as they're available, and then we'll open it up to a Discord. Yeah. But there are extremely limited ticket numbers on this one because we wanted to start it off as a slightly smaller event and really kind of, I think one of the things that we've noticed is that a lot of the socials that we've been to, you just can't have a conversation.
No.
So
too big, too loud. Even if you dim the music, it's still, with a lot of people, it's hard to hear.
No, I think there's still going to be some of those challenges, but at least we're going to try and make it so that you can have a bit of a conversation and still have a great night at the same time. So, Mrs. H.
Yeah.
Moving onwards from there. Moving on.
Oh, you're looking at me like you've got questions.
Oh, I do have questions. I do have questions. Yeah, I know. But the first thing I want to ask, so what have we been up to? And the last, obviously I've been poorly.
Obviously looking after flipping biblically shit Mr. H.
Well,
yeah.
I'm not biblically shit.
You were biblically shit. I thought
poorly.
you were positively medieval, that illness.
Really? Okay. That's fair.
It's like a Victorian wasting
I
disease.
don't recommend it. 10 out of 10 will not do again.
Yes, what have we been up to?
Yeah, so because I guess we last recorded at sort of round about just gone Christmas, right?
Oh yeah, 4 weeks ago at least.
We had the delightful Secret Stag and Secret Vixen here the studio.
Yeah, we did.
/ spare room with all of its junk and stuff in here.
We did that.
And then what else have we been doing? We've been up to like some stuff. There has been other things.
We have done other things apart from look after you and mop your brow. Let's see. We've had a couple of little dates, I think. Like not single lady, but a lady date.
Lady dates. Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Did you went on a date to a kind of play event?
Yeah, I went to a play event in Bournemouth.
I was trying to honestly, that was obviously January.
Yeah, I think
because January was indeed 92 weeks long. So.
It was either January or late December. I can't remember. Probably late December actually.
Maybe, but it was definitely.
At
since we last spoke.
Yeah, at some point. So I think we were going to go to this together.
Yeah, we were.
And unfortunately, the pet care sort of fell through.
Yes.
Now we could have said, okay, we're not going to stay, and we'll actually go to the event and then drive home after.
Yeah, because it's like an hour drive. We could have done it.
Could have done that. We could have said, okay, we can get Rover in to look after the pets.
No, she's too old.
She's not too old. She's fine. We're talking about Yoko,
old lady, not the dog sitter. No,
but so I think that would have been possible.
I don't like leaving her unless it's with someone I trust.
Well, I think.
But also, I was looking for a bit of a reason.
Well, I think this is an event in Bournemouth, and I think for you, it didn't sound like it was going to be your.
No,
your
I'll be completely
jam.
honest. I thought you might have a good time, and collectively we might have had a good time together. But I wasn't mad keen on it because I just know the amount of people going initially put me off anyway, and it's quite loud.
I think
those are two valid reasons why I probably don't enjoy some events, maybe.
Yeah, and I think that also it is a vanilla venue that gets turned into a play venue, and I think there is it's always an interesting twist when that happens. So I think for your mind, you were like, well, I'm not that fussed.
I wasn't
so
fussed.
I will send Mr. H in. He can go along with this lady friend of ours. By the way, who appeared on the podcast
on the Patreon only
version. So
episode.
if you've got Patreon, listen to that, and you can listen.
If you
to
haven't, then you can't.
Well, if you haven't, this will never be released into the real world.
No.
Not because of its startlingly bad quality, but it's a good episode, in fact. But it's because said lady does not want her voice to be all over the interwebs rather than just sort of regularly on the webs, like we're behind like a paywall or whatever. So yes, so I went solo.
I said you should go. You should have a good time, and even though I said why didn't you go along together, I also made it clear that you know she didn't have to chaperone you all night, and if she wanted to go off and do her own thing, you know she could.
Yeah,
but it made
fair.
sense for you to go together.
Okay.
To the venue together, and at least arrive together so you can like chill out for half an hour, and then if she wanted to go and do her own thing, you would have been all right.
Yeah.
So I said, go and have an adventure together. And I was not even remotely mad about that.
Well, people came up to me who know us, because there were a few people, like I didn't know many people there, but there were like 5 or 6. And people were like, oh, is Mrs. H's Carolyn, is she okay? I mean, she's at home by herself. And I was like,
me.
And then there's pictures of you like literally in a duvet, surrounded by pets, having a glass of wine, watching Netflix.
Shall I tell you what I did? I had such a great night.
Please, dude.
I had a lovely bath. I put some very nice pajamas on.
Yeah.
And it was still in kind of like Christmassy mode, I think, because it was very end of December. So I was still hanging on to some Christmas drinks like snowballs. And we had a multitude of like chocolate and nice snacks around.
Yeah.
And I literally binge watched my way through 2 seasons of Black Mirror.
There we go.
Because you don't really like it.
No, it's too depressing for me.
I never get to watch it. So I binge watched all that with a couple of snowballs and a handful of nice chocolates and some nice snacks, and surrounded by the pets who thought it was brilliant. I had a great night. And I actually stayed up quite late because I wanted to wait for you to kind of get back at the end of the night and say hi. And, because I always like to do that. So I kind of like stuck it out to about 2 a.m-ish, I think. And then I knew you got back safe. So I went to bed then. But I had a really good night. It was warm. It was comfortable. I had lovely things. I obviously missed you. But as the night went on and you gave me little snippets of like, what it was like, and you confirmed my worst fears that it was in fact quite busy.
I mean, it was very loud. It was
and quite loud.
Quite busy. And I think for you struggle a little bit in those sorts of environments. Yeah. And I think you'd already made your mind up that you wanted to stay home.
Yeah.
And I think dragging you out probably would not have been the right thing to do, which is absolutely fine. I mean, I had a really nice time. I met some really nice people, met some people that I hadn't bumped into for ages, which was really, really interesting. But I think, obviously I missed you, but I did realise that actually, no, it wasn't. It would not have been something that you'd have been that keen on. I think you'd have to put yourself in the right space, in the right headset to enjoy that kind of thing. And I think if you've got any of that sort of, I'm not going to enjoy that vibe, which you do.
I do sometimes have a bit of a vibe of
I think it wouldn't have worked for you. So, in a way, I'm glad that I went and had a look, and it was nice to meet new people. And I think we probably would have had a lot of fun, but I think you'd have had to really sort of throw yourself into it rather than just like turning up and expecting,
petulantly kicking things around, going, fine, I'm here.
Yeah, and I think that's what you would have done. And in terms of like, rules, we talked about a few different things, and I think part of that was like we weren't allowed to stay in the same bed.
No.
Which is absolutely fine. And
I didn't.
No, we weren't going to do that.
Plus you had a hotel room each, so it's all good.
We did. Also, I think it was a little bit like unclear on terms of playing with other people. That was a little bit sort of ill-defined, I think. Not that it came up. Because I think, when we had that discussion, you seemed to be like, yeah, go and, like whatever you want to do, go and do it. That's fine. As long as you tell me. There was that sort of angle. But then when I was like, oh, then there was this woman who was that not that I was going to play with,
right?
But that it come up as a possible thing.
Yeah,
you didn't know that idea.
Well, so I think we just hadn't talked about it properly, or we hadn't made it quite clear. But thinking about it anyway, I don't even think it was I was opposed to it. I think it was more it threw me into a gentle state of panic because it would have been someone I'd not seen before.
Yeah.
That being said, because it potentially you would have been playing with this other person with the lady you went with, that's probably more palatable, I think, because it's almost like all right, well, you're playing with someone I do know.
Yeah.
And then there's another person maybe joining in. That's not so bad. But I mean, had you I don't know, met up with just a woman on your own, and I didn't know who that was, that kind of threw me into a bit of, I don't know how I feel about that.
But that, strangely, we talked about it, you seemed like okay with that concept. And it wasn't until I came back that you were like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I was like, well, just as well I didn't do any of that, because that would have not been so good for us in terms of conversation.
I mean, I was absolutely fine with you, making out with people that, I'd never met before. That's absolutely fine. Of course it is. It was just more of a, would you have struck a good enough connection with someone I didn't know and had never met before? And again, on reflection, I'm not saying no. I just don't think we talked about it properly. Maybe that's all. Okay. So maybe when after the fact, I thought, shit, we didn't really define it properly.
No, because
I think I'm okay with it, to be fair.
Based on the conversation, I had a slightly different interpretation of that. But as it happens, that wasn't a thing that cropped up. No. And in a way, I'm glad it didn't, because I think that could have caused some issues for us. It would have been healthy to have that discussion, absolutely. But actually, I think it may have led to some harsher words than we'd anticipated.
I think we would have got through it. Honestly, it's not like a deal breaker, and I wouldn't have been like crazy bent out of shape over it. It would have just put me in a different, I need to think about this. It's a new emotion maybe. So it's fine. It just made me think that we need to sometimes just be a bit clearer when we're talking and not just assume that someone else has understood the message.
I mean, that is literally what we've talked about for
I know, so but it's fine.
That's absolutely fine. Let's.
You had a good night though.
I had a fun night. It was really fun.
Did you play at the play event?
I did play at the play event, but I didn't feel comfortable enough like getting naked myself. So I was.
So Ulysses stayed intact.
Yeah, I think so. For me, I think I'm not massively keen on putting on a display for people that I don't know, as we've sort of talked about before. And I think there was definitely an element of a bit of a crowd that I wasn't familiar with gathering. So I was a bit like, I don't feel quite in the right space for that. But also knowing that we had the hotel room as well made me kind of think, well, actually, it'd be better just to go back to
just nicer in a hotel room, right?
Yeah. And I think that's the thing of it. And I think that's where it was a fun adventure, but I prefer a club that's got like proper
rooms,
proper lockable, shuttable rooms or actual spaces, because it's a much more enjoyable experience for me. I think that's kind of where my head was at.
That's fair.
But so what have we got coming up though? So we've talked a little bit about this 20th of June thing with the seven.
Well, you have another solo day.
Well, it's not really a solo day.
Well, it's a solo play.
It's a.
I say solo play. There's going to be someone else with you.
Yeah, one assumes. Well, this is much more you have a work night out.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, we'll fool around until you get home.
Fool around.
Well, we did a very similar thing for my work Christmas party, right? Where
you fooled around at your work Christmas party.
No. Where you fooled around until I got home.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily like a solo date. It's more of it's a threesome with the third person not turning up until later.
I'm sure there'll be some tomfoolery.
I'm sure there'll be some tomfoolery, but but I'm sure I'll survive past, as I'm sure you will, and I'm sure you'll be like me, much more keen to get home. You'll be like, well, thank you, work colleagues. It has been wonderful seeing you. Goodbye. Uber, where's my fucking Uber? Come on, Uber here. So I do think there is a little bit of that.
Yeah, but equally, I'm fine with you, having whatever you're doing while I'm out. Trusted person, all that.
Absolutely.
All good.
We also have tickets to the event for the social club, their play event. The VIP event.
Yes, we do. That's in March.
It is in March. Mid-March. So my main thought process is not to drink tons of bullions before I go.
That's applied learning, right?
That is learned.
That's you learning.
Adapting to the technology.
Will you stick to it though? Will you take your own advice?
I think so. I think it's nice to have a couple of drinks.
Of course.
But I also am conscious that I drank too much last time, so therefore I kind of want to temper it a little bit. I think the thing about like that level of drinking is I think sometimes it's fun when you're with like people that you know and you're on the roller coaster and it's all great. And I think if it's just you, like 4 or 3, whatever crowd that we've got at that particular time, I think it's fine. The problem is that when it's with a bigger group, there's much less control. There's much less not so much understanding, because I don't think I really upset anyone or anything.
I don't think you upset anyone.
No.
Other people.
Other than you.
No, I was the only one who was upset because I just felt excluded by the merriment that you were creating yourself. And I just wasn't on the same trajectory as you were.
And I think that's why I'm keen that I sort of temper that a bit. And also just get you absolutely shit-faced first. That's the current plan.
Because that's ended well in the past.
Nothing bad can come of this new
What could possibly go on
amended
if I
plan.
get shit-faced?
Yeah, there's that.
No,
So.
there'll be no getting shit-faced. But I don't mind having a few drinks. Of course I don't. That just not too many that you forget who's in the room with you.
Yeah. Also, though, we're going to a play event.
Yeah.
I don't know, 40 people, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's any more than that.
How are you feeling about that?
Well, I've obviously been to one of these play events before, so I now know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And that's taken some of the edge off any concern I might have had about what's it going to be like.
Yeah.
Because that's often part of the nerves, right? And you just don't know what to expect. Mm. And so I already know this time it's tried and tested formula, and I know kind of the layout of like what might happen, like some games and this and that. I've also decided what I'm going to wear in a weird twist of fate.
Okay.
So that's quite cool. I feel a bit better knowing that you've already taken the decision to modify your behaviour enough. You're going to be better. We're going to have a better time already because of that, hopefully, unless I get wankered, in which case that's another conversation. So that's all sitting quite well with me.
Yeah.
And I can't help but, I can't really compare a kind of something that's happening in the future to what happened last time, because I just didn't enjoy it, and I don't want to go in with that mindset that I didn't enjoy it last time, because it wasn't the play event that I didn't enjoy. It was the environment that we created for ourselves that I didn't enjoy. So we can manage that. So I feel better about it.
And are the people going that you're interested in?
There's definitely people I know who are going that I know and love and are very happy they're going.
Yeah.
Yes. There's obviously probably lots of people going that I haven't yet looked at, familiarised myself with yet.
I mean, there isn't a chat
Is
yet.
there not?
There's
Oh
not
my
an official
God.
chat.
Am I off the hook?
No.
There's actually not one.
Well, there's their normal regular chat that continues to exist, and you can sort of ascertain who's going, or you could go on to Swing Hub or whatever and see who's posted
I'm
the
not going to
pictures.
do any of that. But I will make every effort to, I'm committing to the fact that I will at least peruse the chat when it opens and make sure I have a look. In fact, I did do that last time. I just didn't really join in much with the chat, but I did look at the who's who kind of bit.
Yeah.
So I will do that.
Okay.
I think I'm only doing myself a disservice if I don't at least integrate myself a little bit. So I'll do that. So I feel quite comfortable with the people I do know who are going, and I already feel better about the fact that we've discussed in advance we're not going to be dickheads. So all in all, yeah, I'm all right, I think.
You think? Okay, well then.
Yeah, I'm not, I know, as I said, I know what to expect. I know there's rooms, there's not lockable rooms, but private rooms. And I know, it's a nice people running it. All that's really good. So how are you feeling about it?
I'm relatively comfortable. I think the challenge is, I think with all of these things, it's having enough time to put in to get to know the people, build some of the banter and whatever first. But also I'm really conscious that doesn't often translate into anything on the day. So there is a cautious balance to be had with this sort of thing. I don't know that like I don't feel like there's people there necessarily like, hey, we'd like to see you, Mr. H. I'm not that like outside of one or two people that we know. Yeah. So there is a bit of trepidation in the sense that I'm not sure how it works from a play dynamic, but also I think that is true of us in general, I think at the moment. And I think I'm not quite sure where we fit in certain bits. And I the question I have that I'd sort of noted down is like why are we swingers, right? To you, like, are we swingers? Is that what we do? Has that changed? And that's a big question, I guess. But I do think that, because our approach isn't that we're not necessarily the rock up and yay, let's have a great time.
No, of course not.
And it's well, not of course not. That might be that might be an approach that we take on board. Some people do, some people don't.
No, I mean, of course not. We're not.
Yeah,
has never been.
I think we're so
way.
far from that I do wonder, like, what is the event and what is the thing that fits us? And I do find, I'm kind of in that space where like, obviously we've got a lot of really good friends. Mm-hmm. And we've got people that we meet fairly regularly, that we have sex with, or that we have fun times with, that we have great social connections with. But the actual going out and the actual connecting with people, I don't know where we are on that at the moment. And I, it's a theme that comes up again and again and again. But I think we've kind of got to the point where we've, for the most part, solved your sort of sex drive thought process. That seems to be much better. But obviously that doesn't change your approach on things. And what I'm trying to get to the root of is, us as a couple, what is it that we are going for? Not necessarily to this event, but things. And what is it that we are looking for? Are we looking for something?
So I think I'd probably answer that with another question by asking, do you think that's your condensed definition of what swinging is? That you have sex with other people that you don't necessarily know? Or would you say that we're more in an open relationship because we like to have some solo adventures and have shared experiences with people we know?
Well, I don't know. And I think that that's why I asked the question in the first place. I think my definition of being a swinger is quite far and vast, right? Because ultimately there's a number of things that you can apply to that. And I think that many of them, we tick those criteria. But do we go out and meet people? Do we go with we're going to a play event? Are we going with the intention of finding people to play with? And I would argue that you are not. Okay. So, and I think I'm on a slightly different page. I'm kind of like interested, but I also don't know how we navigate that in this current climate. So my question is that, are we it's not that are we on the same page, but are we swingers? Are we looking for the same thing? What are we looking for collectively?
So I think the one collective thing that I know we both do look for, and probably already have, is a shared experience, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that we agree on. We both enjoy a shared experience, genuinely with people, yes, that we already know or have got to know enough to take that shared experience to a different level. Broadly. And if I think back over the many years now that since we've opened our relationship, there have been some, but not many encounters where we've just gone for it with people we've just met, kind of thing, or known for like a day, or met on holiday. Yeah. And I do still think that kind of holiday rule applies a little bit. Like when you're on holiday, it feels a bit different because you're only there for a limited amount of time anyway.
But equally, the same could be applied to going to a club, going to a pair event.
It could be, of course, but it doesn't have quite the same appeal to me as going on holiday and having a very different experience.
But you are away from home.
But I think it's easier to maybe meet and connect with people in a short space of time in a holiday, like where it's not necessarily in a club with noise and music. It's just more of a chill out, know people, and you see them day to day at the resort or the pool.
Well, it depends on the holiday, though.
Of course it does. But I'm saying I do still struggle, I think, with the concept of going to a venue, a club environment, and meeting people potentially for the first time and then striking up a good enough connection to go, hey, we're in a club. Why don't we do this thing? I think I probably still do struggle with that. And that's not because I'm prudish or overly fussy. I just as a concept, I struggle with that.
But let me take you back to younger Mrs. H.
I wish I could be younger, Mrs. H.
Well, you know.
Well, actually, no, I don't, do I?
Probably not.
Go on.
But the pre-me version had no such qualms.
I gave no fucks. Well, I gave a lot of fucks.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that, what has changed from that bit to this bit?
Yeah. Well, I only had me to navigate.
Yeah.
I didn't have someone else to consider. Well, I should have considered other people, granted, but I didn't have a you to navigate and care about and think about. For one, I had no, relationship to fuck up.
So, for example, right, so if I was to say, okay, go to a club yourself, whatever happens in that club happens in the club.
Right.
Fine, right?
Go on.
What would you do? Because I don't think that would change your approach in the slightest.
Annoyingly, I think you might be right. I actually think if I was to just...
In fact, you'd be even more snooty.
Oh, wait, no, In that case, I think I might disagree. I think if it was just me on my own, not having to consider anyone else's feelings or anyone else's dynamic or anyone else's approach other than what was I looking for,
Yeah.
I probably would be more ballsy about it maybe. And
Really? Why? So why is that?
know.
Why is that?
I think I just operate differently on my own, if I think about it. I mean, I've not tested this theory.
No,
obviously.
But this surprises me
But if I think back to my original how I was, no fucks given, go and take what I want, that's a different part of me I don't really want to see again.
But I think you're just talking this up.
I'm not.
I do, because I have never seen you like that.
I don't think I want you to.
No, but I don't think that person exists. I think that is a memory of a person.
But I don't know for sure because I've not tried it.
No, I know, but also you wouldn't want to try it.
Well,
so
I
we
don't
go
know.
right. So we go to a club, right? Let's just say we go to a club. I don't know, whichever club,
right?
Whichever one. We go there and we're like, we would like to meet a couple to play with, right?
Okay.
And that, like, what do you do differently to what you do now?
Okay, so a couple is a bit different because there's two people I have to hit it off with and like,
Okay.
rather than one.
Okay.
Whereas if it's just seeking a woman or a man, singular, that's far less complicated.
Mm-hmm.
If they come as a pair, I think that's possibly where some of the issue comes into play because I have to like both of them.
Okay.
That's arguably more difficult.
But I don't think I've ever seen you like a single guy for one.
Yeah, occasionally I do.
Like,
no, I do.
Only people that we've known and got to know.
Not true. Occasionally I do spot someone and think, yeah, you're hot.
You have never, ever in all of our relationship.
I think I can think of a couple of times.
Okay.
Where I said I liked the man, especially if I was observing you talking to the man in a friendly way.
Okay, so outside of, I know that you're referring to one particular person.
Yeah,
in this.
for
right.
one.
Now let's ditch that because that is someone that with an established relationship.
Yeah, I know.
But because when you met that person, you didn't have that sense.
Well, I knew he was part of a couple.
Yes,
Maybe.
but also you.
Well, your question was, do I not ever look at men and think,
yes.
And yes, I do.
Yes, but what I mean is like when you go out and you're like in a club and you're like, okay, I'm going to RoboCop my sights around.
I see, okay.
And do you see people that you think, yes. Now, not including the people that you already know and have met and have built
brand new
relationships.
people.
Yeah, brand new people. Yeah.
I will often see one AA person, but not in a couple. So I like one of the couple generally. I think
that's one of the couple.
Sometimes I see someone I like the look of and I think, oh, but I don't know, I don't like the other bit, and that's where it gets complicated. I think I'm trying to fit too many definitions into what am I looking for. There's a couple. Oh, I only like one of them. Whereas if you're looking at just a person, that's it. It's easier. Narrows the gap, right?
I mean, to a certain extent, yes. But I mean, over the years, we've seen a lot of people and met a lot of people. So I am surprised that with what you're saying, that less people have overall come up as interesting to you.
But again, I will see women and again think, yes, they are hot as a woman, or I would like to get to know them more. And then maybe think, oh, they're part of a couple and I don't vibe with the man. So
okay, but bearing in mind that we're probably in a situation where we're out as a couple looking probably for a couple.
Yes.
Or at least a single lady, right?
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So like that still happens so rarely, and I'm still trying to get my head around why that is so complicated.
I don't know.
Because the way you're talking about it now, you're making it sound like, yes, I see lots of people that I like and that I would like to enjoy. But I don't think, I mean, the amount of women that you said that you like is like I can count on one hand over the years, realistically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, broadly.
Okay.
And the amount of men that you've liked, that you've just met straight away, I can't count at all because it has never happened. So, and I'm not like quizzing you on this. I'm just trying to understand.
Well, maybe I don't always tell you if I see someone and go, yeah, they're nice. Probably don't because it never really needs to be mentioned because it's not going to go anywhere.
But why wouldn't it?
Because if I'm looking for a couple,
If we're looking for a couple, yeah.
Well, what's the point of telling you that I like one of the people, but not both of them?
But okay, so have you ever liked a couple then?
Oh, well, obviously we've met couples and I have liked a couple, yes.
But ultimately that most of the couples that we've met they've been relationships that have developed over the course of time.
Yes, I agree.
And often if there's not an instant attraction to both of them, there is a slow brew for you to get to a space where you're like, hey, I like these people. They are good people.
True.
But finding people in a club and being like, hey, that just hasn't happened. Now, and I just don't, what I'm trying to figure out is why that's the case.
All right, I do think I'm a different person as part of a couple than I was as someone who's just single.
Okay.
I think my approach is different. I feel like my personality would be different. And as I said, I don't particularly like that side of me that I had.
So what I'm hearing is that I'm holding you back.
No, I don't want to be that person.
No, but in terms of you exploring that, like what is it about me being there that changes that dynamic for you?
Because there's two people to consider feelings about. It's not just, I'm not just on a lone wolf mission. There's two of us.
But interestingly, and this is
you need to feel comfortable too.
But interestingly, I think you've never actually gone, oh, I like this couple. What do you think?
Okay.
I don't, not for like, I can count on, like, again, I'm doing lots of very minimal counting, but like less than a hand where that's actually been something that you've mentioned, and certainly not for the last 4 years.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to get to grips with like what makes that difference for you, what makes you sort of interested in people, and what makes you think, oh, this could be a fun thing to explore. Because so what I'm sort of thinking, right, in terms of like are we swingers and do we swing, and that sort of sense of it. We are not on the sites looking for people.
No.
I mean, certainly you're not in the slightest.
No, I agree.
So you're not really looking for people in that sense.
No, I'm not.
At the socials, you are not looking for people. No.
Okay. No, I'm probably more likely to be catching up with people that I know and looking forward to seeing.
Again.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
The last social we went to, I spoke to more new people.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, me. But the point being is that you have no interest in looking. And
I mean, there you
people.
go. You've already proven a point that operating as a lone wolf, you probably achieve more in the way of social interaction.
That's just me fetching you a drink.
No, I mean when you went on your own.
Yeah. No. So I meant like actually like a social that we've been to together,
I see.
right?
I thought you meant one that you went to on your own.
Yeah, actually the one I went to when I was by myself. I didn't really want to build. I wasn't looking to build connections because ultimately, like it would be looking for people that I'd be like bringing those people back to you. And I was like, well, I don't, as much as I love you, I don't necessarily need to gather everything for you. And so when we go to clubs, and we haven't been to clubs for a while, for a long while, but actually my experience of that is that you also don't look for people there. So my take is that do you want to look for new people? And if so, how do you foresee them coming into our lives? Is it that it is utterly dependent on me messaging people, organising things and speaking to people and doing that bit for us? Or is it that you want an active part in that and that selection process?
So my success rate is probably more focused on meeting people face to face rather than messaging in first, because then I can instantly know if there's good stuff there, if there's a connection there. And I know I don't do so well with messaging people on sites and stuff because I don't know, I just don't find it that.
But do you not ever want to sort of look at the site and kind of go, what's around? Who would I like to meet? Or even the chat groups that we're in, because we're in a variety of chat groups.
I think maybe sometimes the chat groups are probably more appealing than sites.
But I'm talking about like not just the chat groups with us and two, like a couple. I'm talking about like
no, I know you mean the bigger ones.
Yeah.
I know that. Again, I think I find that easier to navigate because there's more elements of their personality out there in that kind of chat forum than there is on a site. And the sites generally just give you an indication of what their pants look like or, you know, what their bits of their bodies look like. It's not the same.
But it is a starting point.
Yeah.
I think, you know, you can use the sites. If you use them effectively and you read between the lines, you actually read what's on there and look at whatever, you get generally a sense of people. But my sense is that you've dismissed sites. I think I think the social bit, I think you like speaking to the people that you know. Mm-hmm. I don't think you ever really truly want to speak to other people. I don't know. This isn't like a j'accuse, Mrs. H. It's just an observation, and I'm just trying to get to the root of like what do we do? How do we approach this? Where do we fit in this world?
All right. Well, here we go. What kind of swinger do you want to be? What would make you feel more aligned with?
I don't think it's
the loose definition.
I don't think it's being more aligned. I think there is something to the going out and meeting new people and building new relationships. As I've said before, I always think that, the relationships that you have will only, to a certain extent, will only ever grow smaller because by definition, people split up, move on, do their own thing, die, whatever it is. And therefore your number of relationships that you have in that immediate space shrinks. And, it's like people that we know that have been poorly for a long time. We've not been able to see them. And it's like, well, that makes our sort of relationship circle smaller, right? I'm conscious that there's only so much amount of time to see people and also only so much amount of time to develop those relationships. I think for me, there is something in the being out there and talking to people and meeting new people, even if it's not necessarily with the realm of like, hey, we want to fuck them. I think there is something about living that truth and going out there and I know, right? But like going out, chatting to people, kind of getting to know their stories, getting to know what's going on. Because I think we are quite isolated in the sense that we've got our little groups. We don't really interact with the groups in a massive, like we've got our own little group, which we do. But then beyond that, like the other groups that we're in, we don't massively interact with. So I think that the people that we engage with is only going to get smaller and smaller. I think there's going to come a point when we're going to be like, well, we've now got to put our big boy pants on and go out and do this. And we won't have those skill sets. Not that we've ever truly had those skill sets because we've never really like flexed those.
But then we must possess some skills along the way because we wouldn't have the group of friends that we have already. Because we found them originally through meeting, right, for the first time. Well, all of the friends that we've met at some point for the first time.
Yes. I think a large chunk of those people have come through the cheat route, basically the podcast. But lots of them have. So I do think that living the experience and that going out and meeting new people thing is an important part of the community aspect. And I think that we've been a bit lazy. Let's be fair, I think.
I'm okay with being lazy.
Well, I know, but I think in terms of developing new friendships, relationships, whatever, we're just not that well versed at it, and we're just not very good at it as a result. And the reason I asked you that question is because I was just thinking, because I went to this sort of event by myself and so that there were lots of people there and I spoke to quite a few different people, some I knew, some I didn't. But it was interesting to me in that actually this was a crowd of people that we don't necessarily hang around with and we don't necessarily know. And that is always like a roll of the dice. Sometimes it's going to pay off and you're going to meet amazing people, and sometimes it's going to be daft. But for me, it was the fact that I was out there and I was like, I'm actually just going around and just chatting to people. And I do miss that aspect, but I also think that aspect is quite important to the whole process.
So maybe it's me holding you back.
Well, I don't think it's you holding me back. I think it's just that we're just on very different pages for what we want from this. I think that you are quite comfortable.
Or how we achieve it.
Well, there's a bit of that, but I think actually that you're quite happy with the group that we've got. And that's, I wouldn't suggest that group is in any way not enough for us. But I think you are very content to kind of be like, oh, we can see these people this week. Oh, we can see these people this, whatever. But for me, I think I miss the getting out and socializing, the meeting new people and the building those connections. Not to say that I want to go around and just that it has to be we go to a club and we meet someone immediately, bang them. But I do think that we take a long time with that process. And sometimes we do that for no reason at all. But I don't think that's, again, it's not always a bad thing. I just think it's something that we do because that's the comfort level that we've settled in.
Okay.
But I also think that if I don't drive, then it doesn't happen. So like the podcast, if I don't do it, it doesn't happen.
Okay.
So I feel what I don't want to do is reach burnout with it all, in that I'm pushing it all and that it's just me driving it, because that feels like it's very one-sided in terms of the relationship. I know that you like the good bits about the relationships we have. I know you do. But in terms of the new bits, it feels like it's a lot of me doing that. And I just wonder if there's something more that we can do as a couple to kind of get that balance right, but also do it in a way that's not upsetting you. And like, you know, I know, for example, like going to that event that I went to, I know how petulant you would have been at that event. Like, there is no doubt in my mind that you'd have been like, oh, let's slack this off, go to a quiet cocktail bar and then let's go back to the hotel. That would have been, you'd have been there an hour tops and that would have been where you're at.
Okay.
So, but it's how do we manage that, and how do we kind of get that space and that approach right? I don't know what the answer is. And I don't even know if there is an answer.
Which is why I asked you if, you know, would you say we probably are more an open relationship rather than swingers, if you want to chuck definitions in there? I
don't think so. We do swing with people. So I think that is a truth and a thing that happens. I don't think it's a truly open relationship, because we'd shit ourselves about that and it wouldn't work for us. I think we'd be too jealous and too upset. I think we have opened more of our relationship. That is true, but I think it is not truly, it's not like free reign fucking chaos. It's not like some sort
of course not.
And I think that's where...
Not dating other people that we don't know kind of thing, are we?
Well, we're not really dating other people. I think you could argue that we go on dates with people versus dating, which is slightly different. And I think those people that we've had those dates with would argue that we are not dating them. This is not it might be a relationship, but it is not a relationship. That's I think
semantics, but yes, I get you.
So I think that's kind of where my head was at, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. I was like, well, this is in my head. This feels like and you know, I kind of, what I don't want to do, right, is keep going onto sites and going, look, these are the things that we could be doing. I don't want to see all the chat groups and think, oh, all these people are interacting so much. What? And like I don't want to be a lone voice, because that, I know how desperate that comes across. I know, I see other people doing the same thing, and I know where you're like, oh God, just shut the fuck up. You like where's a unit? And it feels like I don't want to be in that space where it is just me doing that.
No, I do get that, but then I suppose we have to find a balance and a compromise with, you know, how much. I mean, I genuinely don't get the time to devote to it as much. All right, admittedly, I can in the evenings. You're right. I'm not going to argue with a case and say no, I'm too busy. During the day, no, absolutely not. Can't do that. Fine. And so the compromise, I suppose, could be that I try and enter into these chats a bit more in the evenings, but maybe that's a compromise.
The thing is, I don't want to force you to do something that you don't want to do.
But I know I'm not the only person in a couple that, you know, where one half interacts and, like you've just said, the other half doesn't really do chats. You know, there's lots of people like that.
There's lots of people that are in that
struggle with the chats, or get overwhelmed by the chats, or don't really want to be constantly chatting in the chats.
But also, I'm very conscious that I don't want to burn out by being the only.
Do you enjoy interacting in the chats?
I do.
Well, do it then. Like, if you're happy to do it and you enjoy it, then why stop?
I think because there's a lot.
There is a lot.
there is a lot. And I think, you know, between the podcast and the events and the chats.
Right. But like I say, if you get enjoyment from it, then
I get okay, so I get enjoyment. I get enjoyment from a lot of it, but I also recognise that it's draining me more because there is just me. And I think that's the challenge of this, is that I don't want to be just a solo person, like banging the drum to an attempt to lure people in or go and see people. But you're not.
You're talking about just general. From what I can see, when I have dipped in there, you're not going, hey, I'm part of a couple, I promise, and also I'm here to talk about, you know, what we can offer people. You're there to just enjoy the conversation that flows about a myriad of different things. You know, you could be talking about games or outfits or whatever it is you'll chat about. That's just chat. It's not. If you're not there just selling yourself.
Well, I think there is an element of that. I think, but I'm not just talking about the chat groups. I'm talking about the sites. I'm talking about the whole thing, because ultimately, if I'm the only person that's in the chat group and I'm the only person replying to messages and sending messages, then it does become draining. And that's where I think there is an imbalance of it all. And, like the amount of times I've turned to you and gone, oh, we had an email about this. And you're like, did we? Or we had a message about this. Did we? Okay. Or we had a WhatsApp about that. And you're like, oh, we did?
WhatsApp stuff I see more.
Yeah, more, but not. And this is the thing. I think there is just an imbalance on this. I think we need to kind of work out what is it that we're kind of going to go for? What is it that we're trying to do? And how are we going to go about doing it? It sounds very businessy, like let's have a vision. But I think there is an element of it to that, because if we don't kind of sort that out, at some point I'm going to go, fuck this shit, because I will. It'll be too much.
Okay.
And then you'll be like, well, why don't you like doing it anymore? But they're like, because I am the only person that is out there doing it. And I think that's the challenge, in that if you're just one half representing two people all the time on all these things, then actually that's quite a difficult proposition to maintain that. And I think when you add in all the other stuff, like I said, like the podcast, like the Patreon, all that other stuff, it becomes, it's a lot. And I think, so, but without the benefit of being able to go into this as a couple. So there's none of the, hey, we're making all these great connections. There's just a big push on this stuff. Okay. Do you see what I mean? Is that fair?
Yeah, we'll agree some strategies.
Yeah, let's get our goals out and let's strategize and do some outside of the box thinking.
Some synergy.
No synergy. There'll be no synergy. No
blue sky thinking.
No, that's fine. No. Blue sky thinking is okay. That's all right. So yeah, and that's just why I asked that question, is because I think when I think about what are we doing, I think we've kind of got into this space where we're seeing our amazing friends on a regular basis. Right. And that is wonderful. I love our friends. They are amazing. Good. Right? That is, I don't want to stop that.
Don't need to change that.
Don't want to stop that. But at the same point, I'm conscious
you want more of them.
Well, I think the adventure is different. And whilst you get fun adventures with your friends, they're not the, hey, let's go out and meet new people. Let's go out and do something exciting.
Right.
They aren't always that. It's much more, there's so much more comfort to the friends aspect. And I think it's about sort of how do we explore some of, like, going back to those early adventurous days where we're like, hey, let's go to a party and see what it's like. We don't do that. And I think in part that's because I don't want to suggest it, because you'll go, oh, fuck off. So there is a touch of that, but it's also that, like, I don't want to be the only person suggesting that.
Right.
But also totally recognize that you don't really have the interest in doing it either. And I think that's where I'm trying to get to the bottom of what is that we want, because it's really hard to kind of enable that if I don't know.
Right.
Is that fair?
Yes.
You've got the sulky look of someone that has been told off. I can see the saltiness.
I'll take it away and get my guys to look at it.
All right, fine. So and that's why I brought it to the table. That's why I wanted to just chuck this out there and have this sort of like, where are we at? What's going on? What do we do?
All right. So I don't share quite the same level of despair that you have over it, because you're right. I kind of don't have the visibility of seeing all that, because I don't immerse myself in it. Fine, I accept that. I probably don't place so much importance on seeking new things, because you're right. I love the things that we have, and I kind of don't feel like I want to spoil any of that, and I get everything I need from that. But again, I accept these things are going to get maybe diminished at some point, and we need to add more people. So the only solution then is for me to just get social, more social, maybe. Is that what I need to do?
I don't know what the solution is.
I'll try.
I think there is just a brain dump of what's going on in my head.
Right.
I feel like there's more we can do, more we can do to set it straight. Okay. But at the same point, like I said, I don't know what the answer is, because ultimately it's not your usual want or behaviour.
No, but we've got to compromise somewhere.
No compromises. It's all down to what you think.
It's not.
I'm not allowed an opinion.
We'll work through it.
We'll work it out. We'll wank it out. It'll be fun.
Work out what we need to do.
So that's why I asked you that.
Thank you.
There we go. See,
I hope you haven't got another 10 questions.
No, I think I've got more questions, but that'll do for now. I didn't read. This isn't about really isn't about pointing the finger. I think it's just trying to explore where we're at and kind of what do we want from things moving forwards. And I think we've been in this sort of, particularly as I've had a couple of weeks of being ill to think about it, but also like I've just not had the energy to join chats and do all the stuff and post and all this kind of thing. And actually I felt, being poorly, I felt properly burnt out, but also felt like you didn't give a fuck about any of the looking, not about me being burnt out. You obviously do very much care about that, but you didn't really give a fuck about the Bedhopper stuff, the stats, the pages, or any of the things that happen that if I don't do, they just don't get done. And like the replying to messages or the not looking for people, because I'm really not on there like looking for people constantly, because it is a fruitless effort. Because if I just show you a picture, you'll be like,
I don't. Oh my God.
There is. So I think it's just like it just made me realise being poorly that like so much of that is if I didn't do it, it wouldn't happen. And it's kind of, is that right? Do we need to change that? Do we need to think about what it is? Because at some point, if me being poorly made me feel burnt out, at some point work will be too busy or life will be too busy. And then I'll be like, well, we're not doing any of this anymore because that's...
Well, there'll come a point when we don't do it anyway.
Well,
I'll get too old.
You get too old. You're not too old.
I will get too old.
You've at least got a good year and a half in you. You'll be fine.
Wow.
Yeah, you've still got life in you yet. I mean, of course...
A whole 15 months.
This will inevitably end up...
They'll be the most sociable 15 months you've ever known.
This will inevitably end up as a Reddit post, like, is Mr. H done with a lifestyle or whatever?
No.
The reality is not. I enjoy...
No.
I think we get a lot from what we get. I just think we could get more... from just switching things up a bit. And that's where I'm at. Hopefully that's... Yes. And now I should go beat you with my ruler. It's okay.
Is that what you're calling it now?
Shatner proof.
Shatner proof.
Yes.
Right.
Anyways.
Well, I will give it some thought.
Okay, give it some thought. Anyway, listeners, if you've listened to this and thought, this sounds vaguely familiar, or we knew someone that went through a similar thing, or we do the same thing, or it is always me that does all of the stuff. I hear you, Mr. H.
I'm sure there's people out there who can relate to that completely. I know immediately I can think at least 8 people off the top of my head who will probably say...
I can think of 20 people.
I totally...
Are we just telling people like how many people we know?
But
I know 1,000 people.
That will probably say exactly the same as you. That they feel they're probably... The driving factor. Of course there are.
Yeah.
You're not alone in this.
No,
not that makes it right, but I also do know that this is not an unusual concept for one person to be more active, proactive, whatever.
No, I totally get that. But that's what I'm saying. If you feel this way, reach out. Like, how do you deal with this? How do you maintain? How do you keep that energy level up? And how do you get your partner involved? Do you give them treats for like good behavior? Is it like,
I get treats?
Yeah. If like for every Swing Hub message that you send, you get like, I don't know, a slice of Toblerone or something. I don't know.
Well, I'll be like keyboard cat for next week now.
You get a slice of ham for every... Yeah, exactly.
Where's my Toblerone, bitch?
If you reply to 10 messages, you get 10 points, and points can be traded in for a coffee, apparently.
Oh, God. Resurrecting the coffee thing.
Yeah. No. Okay, right. What I will say is look out for social event information. That'll be out soon.
I'll watch out for a flurry of messages from me, maybe.
Well, maybe. Let's see. Let's see you reply to some... Or a message. Let's start big and reply to a singular message. I'll show you how to reply to messages on Swing Hub.
I did reply to an email recently.
It was, can I have your Pokemon code?
That's not important.
There we go. Right. On that note, Mrs. H, do your thing.
Well, thank you for hopping into our bed.